Welcome to GenZReacts, the show that matters to the young generation in Ghana. My name is Hoseyawa, and today we'll be diving into the manifestos of the two top political parties in Ghana, the NPP and the NDC. The elections are up. December 2024 is coming, and we all know that it's time to vote. Both political parties have brought out manifestos, and I'm very sure that everybody has read it, because this has been like a very dire situation. We've been in crazy end times. We'd like to hear from our young panel of guests on what they think about what each party is promising, whether the current party is at par with what they promised earlier on before they came into power, and if the current manifesto that they're putting out, they think that they would be able to work on it. Walter.
Yeah.
Both political parties have come out with their manifestos, and I'm very sure that you have read both of them. What do you think?
Honestly, I don't think the NPP read out the manifesto, because I feel like it was a lullaby. Honestly, that's what I felt. That's honestly how I felt. But like with the NDC, before I even dissect the whole thing, I just want to say this. Who told Ghanaian politicians that Ghanaians are interested in free things? Like, honestly, who told them that? Because why is everyone promising something free? Especially when we have seen people promise free things and they didn't live up to expectations. And when you query them on why they didn't live up to expectations, they say, oh, but I give you this free, I give you that free. So like, I don't know, but like, who told them that we really need free stuff? That's just from the beginning. And now, both parties. Well, like I said earlier, NPP read out a lullaby. Honestly, that's how I saw it. And the NDC, the part that I really listened to, I really read, was the free level 100 bit that I feel like was not really needed. For me, I don't know. I have younger siblings who might benefit if they come into power, but I feel like this is not what Ghanaians need. It's not what the young people need. And I feel they should have, as their leader, the Mahama, has been championed to have begun, the progressively free education, which the President Akufo-Addo continued into free education. I feel like he could have done something better than free, because we've seen free. Like, have you seen senior high schools now? I see senior high schools as like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't feel it's not a big deal like previously when someone says, oh, I'm going to senior high school, like that excitement, it's not there again. It's like, yeah, that. Yeah, I understand. Like, I have a younger sibling that is like completing this year, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you went to that. I didn't go to that. Like, do you understand? So they've made SHS a certain time like boring. I'm not saying boring, but like cheap, easy. And I don't know, I just feel like if they get that into our universities, it's going to make universities look that way. And that's where I don't like. I feel like what they should have done was to maybe do a better way of, making everybody have access to education. And let me say this to you, Ghanaian politicians, education is all right. Stop trying to promise us with it like it's in the Constitution, it's all right. Like, grow up. Yeah.
Yeah, so to add to what Walter said, I actually agree with what he said, because I'm someone who is actually experiencing that free SHS firsthand, and it has become something else, because I have an elder sister who went through SHS in the times when SHS was SHS, but now school is not school anymore. You don't even go to school because you go, no teachers in the classroom, furniture deficit, a lot of things that has made the whole quality of the thing come down.
Yeah. And
then when we talk about the manifestos, I listened to the NPP's manifesto, and they do have vision, like it is there, but they have been in power for like 8 years now, and that vision that they had enough time to implement most of it. And also, I've noticed that some of the promises from like the 2020 manifesto have carried on into 2024. So yeah, I don't really have so much trust in them. But then we have the NDC, who also came out with their own manifesto. And one thing I did appreciate was the fact that Mahama, the flag bearer, he's not going to like discontinue projects. He's trying to improve upon stuff that, even though it's not part of his regime, like he did not say he's going to scrap the free SHS. He says he's going to improve upon it. And then in SHSs, we have this e-block that Atamils started, and then when the other people came to power, they just like stopped doing it. He says he's going to complete it. And I just appreciate the fact that he's going to continue with projects that people feel like when they came into power, just because it's not part of my party, they're not going to like continue with it. One other thing that caught my attention in the NDC's manifesto was the fact that the 24-hour economy thing, though a lot of people are disagreeing with it and are like, no one works for 24 hours and it's not possible and all of that. But I actually appreciate it because there are some countries that do it and they are thriving. And also, if you look at it in a different sense, it actually is what Ghana needs right now. Because if we have an economy that is moving around 24 hours, it will give you more jobs and there'll be more productivity. And for someone who, okay, take an instance of an high school student who has, I'm a day student and who has like I'm of age, but I'm in high school and I have a family to help out with. And then because we are in the 9-to-5 system, I have to attend school in the morning. So I wouldn't be able to get a job to help out. But in the 24-hour system where we have different shifts, when I come back from school, I can take a shift and then I'll be able to support with something. So I actually really appreciate that particular policy appeals to me.
When you said the 24-hour thing, it's like, so is it that businesses are going to be in like working 24/7?
Yeah, you're just going to like work in shifts. So you're going to have like 3 8-hour shifts.
But how does that help? Because right now with the economy, how like, even when you're working, like the money is not enough. So is there like, are they doing anything to make sure that like maybe they up the payments? No,
it's not just for like government institutions. Like everyone is working around the clock. If you work around the clock, you have access to a whole new customer base. So your productivity will increase. You have more money, and so obviously be able to pay workers better.
Okay.
So it actually really works.
So Jay and Moses, we've heard what Walter and DJ had to say. So what do you think about the manifesto so far?
Okay, for me, I've read the NDC's manifesto and I've read the NPP's manifesto. And I want to applaud NDC because I watched their manifesto launch on YouTube and they had it in 2 bits. Like they had the youth manifesto, which is like for us, the young ones, the Gen Zs, and they had another set for like everybody. So with the youth manifesto, they mentioned a lot of things. So with the education, with the educational sector, like what Walter said, that they'll be implementing the free level 100 policy, which will help students who are not able to like pay fees and all that come to uni free, and that is just in level 100. And then after level 100, they will have to find like their ways to like continue with school. I wanted to disagree with them because why will you bring me to school and then leave me at a point stranded? That was my question. But later on, they were like, they are going to introduce student loans for students who are not able to make money, like to pay their fees afterwards. So with the trust fund, they were like, they are going to help students with that. So, and later on I went through again and they were like, there will be scholarships available and the student loan trust fund. And at the end of everything, I felt like it was a good policy, because I condemned it at first because I didn't listen to the whole thing. And with NPP, their manifesto is full of repetitions and things they could have done already. And when they asked their flag bearer, he was like, if I do all the things today, what will I do when I come like what will I do when I become president? And I feel like he has to go on his knees and apologize to Ghanaians because he thinks we are not intelligent, because we've given you 8 good years to work, and you've imposed Ghanaians are paying 40 taxes, and I can't even we pay COVID taxes, 10% bets. Like, the economy is hard, no jobs, everything, and you are telling me that if you solve all our problems today, what are you going to do for us tomorrow? And I just don't understand what these leaders think of us. Like, we are paying the taxes, we voted for you into power to work for us, and you are telling us this. I just can't believe it. I just want to say this. NPP is like, they don't care about us. I don't even know.
But don't you think that, Baumia being second in command, you know how it's always so hard being second in command, because, like, you have an idea, but, like, when you speak out to the first person in command, it's always like, oh, maybe we don't want to do this, but then because I'm the second in command, I can't do anything. So don't you think maybe he has to be given a chance when he becomes first in command, maybe he can implement the stuff that he actually wants to do?
No. If you know you couldn't, you can't do anything if you come into power, why did you go for vice? Then just stay at home, because it's work. You are supposed to work with the president to develop the country, and you are the vice president. Mr. President, what you are about to do is right, what you are about to do is wrong. You are there to make decisions together. You come and sit down and tell us that Akufo-Addo is the driver and I am the mate, and I am the mate, so I cannot do anything. And so if the driver couldn't help us, what shows that if we give the car to the mates can drive? If the driver led us into accidents, what shows that if we give the car to the mates can drive? Like, it doesn't make sense. If the driver is going, it's the mate that will prompt the driver, this person will alight at this place. You are not supposed to tell me that the driver is the one holding the stair, so I can't say that you want to alight, so tell the driver yourself. Let's think. Like, sometimes you have to feel pity. You are in power. You wake up, you eat 3 times a day. There are people in Ghana who barely eat. Some people eat once a day. Kibo Gari has become like favorite food for people. Eat bags of Gari. You wake up, you have breakfast. Now we have schedule for people. People drink water in the morning, and you are telling me that I voted for you to go and sit down, drink tea in the morning, have bodyguards, sit in car, like, have everything you need. We pay you, you have allowances. By now, your children are even in abroad. They don't even know what we are going through. I went to free SHS, and if I tell you what we went through, it's so devastating.
So sad.
I went to school in the north, right? I went to Navrongo Senior High School, and it got to a time we were eating eba.
Oh my God.
Yes, eba with brown sauce.
Gary, right?
Yes, brown sauce. The brown sauce, no protein.
Oh.
So it's like groundnut paste with flour and like something. So
What's the ingredients?
some of us, we were lucky because our parents will give you money to go and buy food and order. But some people had to eat that. It got to a time we had to drink Tom Brown beans, and they'll pour Tom Brown inside the beans so that it will be thick.
Oh wow.
Like, we went through a lot. Dormitory was like congestion, like everything. Teaching was poor and everything, and they want us to pass.
When you said that dormitory was congested, I thought they had a system, like some students come for some months, and then another batch of students come for some months.
Even with that congestion, if you come Form 1, you lie on the floor, you check floor. That's the term for it. You check the floor, son, till you go to Form 2, then you start sleeping on bed. So so form 1 you check floor. So you in the evening after prep, then they'll start mopping the floor to sleep. It's so
I think
sad.
the current government has really hurt
It's so
JR,
sad.
and then they need to do something about that.
Yes.
Moses, I'd like to hear your opinion about this.
Okay, so manifestos are policy proposals by parties that determine the way they want to steer the affairs of the country, the direction they want to go, and how they intend to do it. Yeah. Now, one of the key indicators of an ability to implement a manifesto is your credibility and what you've done in the past. Okay. Now, when you take a look at the Bawumia-led administration, that probably they might win. He would be heading. They have serious credibility issues regarding the policy proposals they put in the Bold Solutions Manifesto. Now, this Bawumia-led administration came to meet our debt stock at 120 billion Ghana cedis. That is how much we were owing when they came in 2016. Currently, it stands at 742 billion Ghana cedis.
Crazy.
Okay. Currently, our debt to GDP ratio stands at 104%. So if you look at the economic indicators, it shows clearly that there's a level of cluelessness on the part of the person who is the head of the economic management team. Yeah. So when you make the argument that he's just a mate, the records and the facts show differently, because if you're the head of the economic management team, it means that you are spearheading economic policy directions.
Yeah.
And this is the same vice president who attributes himself the successes of this administration. When it comes to digitalization, he trumpets it as his trump card. But when it comes to the failures of this administration, he shies away from it and says that he had no hand in it. So clearly they have credibility issues. And yes, as Khadija said, on paper, it looks like they have a blueprint to turn around the economic fortunes of this country. But you see, what there's a kind of saying that says, into ma, there's been a track record of managing our economy in such a dastardly way that it's difficult for me as a Gen Z to believe what they are proposing. Do you get my point? So that is it. The solutions they've outlined, we gave them 8 years to be able to entrench our development progress and our trajectory. They've not been able to do that. So when you come up with the over 200-page document that tells me that you want to do A, B, C, D, it's difficult for me to believe you because you've plunged us into hopelessness. That is the challenge now. Now let's take a look at the alternative, the National Democratic Congress, Social Democrats. What are they saying? They are saying that they want to reset our country, which I am all for, because if we look at where we are as a nation, we need to go back to the basics and reset a lot of areas within our economy and social life. And that is what the manifesto, they call it the Reset in Ghana Manifesto. Now, what policies directly benefit the youth? One, the 24-hour economy that she's already touched on. Yeah. She's explained it extensively, and she said that we get to create an economy that works around the clock. And you were asking a question about how are we going to pay for the excess workforce that is going to be generated. The point is, once you're able to boost productivity, it increases revenue, and then you're able to pay the additional workforce that is going to create. Currently, 32% of the Ghanaian youth stands unemployed. So when you create an economy where consistently our economy is running from hour to hour to hour, it means that you would need more people to fill those spaces, and those people get jobs for themselves. So that's one of the things I'm happy about in the manifesto. The second thing I'm truly happy about, especially because of the digital direction our world is moving in, is the training of 1 million young Ghanaians in coding and allied digital skills. Yeah. I'm very happy about it. And just recently, the communications director for the Bawumia campaign team said the NPP might have copied the manifesto from the NDC manifesto. Because in the NPP manifesto, it's also embedded that they want to train Ghanaians in digital skills. And so I'm even happy that at least the two foremost parties are thinking alike when it comes to digitally training Ghanaians, because that is the way to go. Yes, traditional job creation avenues like agriculture and allied fields exist, but we need to start positioning the Ghanaian youth in the areas of entrepreneurship and digital skills. So I'm very happy about that. And I'm even far more happy that within that plan, they have spelled out that they are going to partner the private sector. So it's not a situation where we are training Ghanaian youth with digital skills and we are not giving them jobs. Yeah. So there's going to be a partnership with the private sector. Yeah. And it's easier for me to believe the NDC because the Accra Digital Center, which now the New Patriotic Party, the current administration has turned into one of the hubs for the passport offices, etc., was built by the SWL and NDC administration. So if they are telling me, they've done it before, and they're telling me that they want to set up regional digital centers and train Ghanaian youth in digital skills, it's easier for me to believe. But back to everybody's favorite digital Baba.
You have your Ghana card though. You can't use your Ghana card to do a lot of things.
Oh. Do you want me to go into the Ghana card conundrum? Because you see, one of the most illogical statements I have heard being made by anybody, and I have a lot of respect for the vice president, but for you to tell me that you choose Ghana card over interchanges, it clearly shows that you can have a PhD and not be intellectually sound.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So for me, the Ghana card is a step in the right direction. It does not like it's overly an achievement because you need to have a form of national identification. Doing that alone does not put food on the table of the millions of hopeless Ghanaians. It doesn't put food on our table. You need to create jobs. And that is where you failed woefully. You get the point? So for me, their manifesto is one, a regurgitation of old promises. Two, it is a galore of future promises that they've already shown that they can't fulfill. So you get the point. So I find it difficult to understand that you've created a blueprint that is not in consonance with your character. You have a character of not fulfilling your promises. And mind you, nobody is saying that manifesto should be implemented fully, because we've all accepted that 4 years, some of the outlandish things they put in their manifestos, 4 years is not enough, or 8 years is not enough. But at least we should see that you're on a trajectory.
Yeah.
She mentioned the e-blocks. I can tell you that over there, I think the number is around 200, 300. About 200 to 300 e-blocks were stipulated to have been built. Over 100 have been built before John Dramani Mahama exited office. That is someone who's on a trajectory to show us that he can do the job. Out of the 275 factories that were promised under the one district, one factory, how many have been implemented? So clearly, this administration they're just doing it because politically is one of the practices we must go through. Parties must create manifestos, so they're just doing it. But truly, if you're a right-thinking member of society and you're analyzing, you'll notice that the NDC has shown a far more greater commitment to the Ghanaian youth. They even went a step further by launching a youth manifesto through pomp and pageantry. They brought young Ghanaians to head the launch. It was beautiful. For me, the future of our nation is in safe hands, because some of the people I saw, the way they carried themselves, the way they spoke, show that we have great human resource when it comes to the young people of this country. So for the NDC, I give them the plaudits. Last thing before I end, the no fees policy that my good friend from the New Force was touting. The policy is similar to what John Dramani Mahama wanted to implement at the SHS level, progressively free SHS. You get the point. We are not in an economic space where we can say we are giving everybody free tertiary education. We can't do that. But you see, the impact of this wicked and demonic Nanado-led administration has made it difficult for people to even afford tertiary education. And so how do we ease the burden? Rather than being very deceitful and promising 4 years free education, why don't we start from what? The basics. So for your first year, your tertiary education is free. But beyond that, we have put in stopgap measures that even if, and mind you, this policy is not for the aftermath of the policy, there are definitely going to be people who can afford tertiary education.
Yeah.
So when we are done, you can pay for your education. But we are not stopping there. There's also the stopgap measures that seek to do what? Help people who cannot afford after the first year has elapsed. And that's the Student Loan Trust Fund, which in the manifesto, the NDC administration is seeking to revamp it and make it more robust so that people who couldn't continue after the free first year, they can continue and do what? Access that. Beyond that, if you look at the economic interventions that are being established in the manifesto, for example, they have promised that within 100 days, some nuisance taxes, like the betting tax, which my boys will be very happy about, because some of us is the odds that we used to work.
Yeah.
COVID tax.
Yes. COVID tax, extra is going. All these things are going to be removed within 100 days to ease the burden. So it is a hand-in-hand measure. Whilst we are trying to make the economic space a bit more favorable for everybody, we're also instituting such measures to make it simple for a lot of people to get access to higher education. That is the point.
I want to say this.
I want to add to what he said. So, in the educational sector, the NDC also said that they will be introducing a free apprenticeship, like training for people who want to go into those vocational stuff. And I feel like it's a good policy, because in Ghana, if you want to if you don't want to go to the tertiary side and you want to learn something skills with your hand, like you want to learn skills, you have to go and pay a lot of money, sometimes feeding and all that. But if they are thinking about us and they know that some of us don't want to further our education, we just want to do something with our hands, and they are introducing this policy, I feel like it's a very good one for us, like a very, very good policy, because some people don't further after JHS, some don't further after SHS, they just want to go and do some apprenticeship work and all that. And I feel like if they are thinking about people who want to further their education, they are also thinking about Gen Zs who don't want to like further their education to the universities and all that.
Before water comes, let me just say something. And this is not as if I am saying that the existing challenges within the senior high school level and the basic school level should not be addressed. If you take a look at the manifesto, it seeks to eradicate some of the already existing challenges within the education sector. You get it? At the basic school level, there are infrastructural challenges. The manifesto seeks to provide more infrastructure. At the senior high school level, it has already said that probably there will be policy reforms to the free SHS to make it a bit more robust. So whilst we are taking a look at the challenges at the basic school level and the senior high school level, we must also want to lend a hand to those who are even struggling to get higher education at the tertiary level.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I see your type a lot on morning shows. But like, I just want to say this honestly. I've heard both parties talk about it. It's not like I'm saying anything out of the blue. I just want to say this. I've seen politicians promise us that they're going to give us free water, and then months later we end up paying for those free things. We've seen politicians promise us that, oh, this is free, just take it. And then the next minute they are telling us because they give us free education, they can't give us light. Because they give us free education, they can't provide our children with good food, because they are paying for that education. When we take the free education, it's not only about, beds, like they all said, like the food. Like there is at a point, the caterers had to do a protest and all that type of thing, for them to be paid. I'm looking at all those things. That's why any political party that has any free thing in their manifesto is side eye for me, because I don't trust. They are all the same soup. Honestly, they are all in the same soup. I don't trust, because I've seen someone who could not live up to expectations. And I know there are people who are struggling, who want to go to university and cannot afford. In my opinion, if Mahama really, and it's not just putting free this just to persuade some people, and if he really thinks about them, he should work on the student loan and make it more accessible, because honestly, in my opinion, what I've heard, I'm not going, but what I've heard, people bribe, people go, you have to do connection before you get a student loan.
Exactly.
I think what he should have done was to say that he was going to better the student loan, so
but
that
that's embedded in
I'm coming. Can you guys allow me?
Keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I feel like if he said that, I know, free water. I'm just scared, because I don't want to wake up one morning and then everybody's going to the university. Look, I went to free SHS, and the truth of the thing is, free for all. The number of people that were in the class, it was just let's say 100%, but just 30% really benefited.
Exactly.
There was quantity over quality. And I fear that our tertiary sector would face that same situation if that is allowed. I just feel like, if you really think about us and you really think about those that don't have, open the student loan, make it more accessible, so that those students or those people who cannot afford tertiary really, because you can't tell me, okay, fine, you take me to level 100, nice and simple, I'm in school, then level 200, I can't afford. Then what do you just do? You just poured water in a basket. You didn't do anything. And you are saying that, okay, you're going to make allocations, scholarships. That scholarship, it is politically inclined, you have to know somebody who's going to get that scholarship. And it's something that it happens. That's where me I'm coming from. Like, it's not like, okay, me, any political party that has anything free, you're like, I'm not voting for you. Because I've seen it before and it has not helped us. I don't know who told them that we really need free things that badly.
No.
Put in the work. When you put in the work, we would vote for you. I feel like stop telling Ghanaians, stop showing us in the eyes that, okay, free things. Do the work. When you do, when the economy is running, we will not need free things to really put our children to. Our parents will not need you to pay our fees if the economy is really working. Yeah. We will not need you to pay our fees. We will not need you to give us free water. Like, we will not need those things when the economy is really working. Tell me that you make sure, okay, things are going to really work, and not come and tell me free what? Like, I don't get anything. There's no free lunch anyway. Like, let's be honest here. They will give us a free tertiary, and then when we complete and we are not getting job, they'll say, oh, but I gave you free tertiary. And fine, they are saying they are going to, after level 100, they are going to make scholarship accessible to how many of those level 100s who are going to complete are rest assured that all of them are going to get that scholarship. Then why not to continue it and make it everything free? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are going to find benefits from the thing at level 100, and they might not benefit from it again. I think he should have, designed the student loan in a way that everybody,
the NPP or the NDC,
NDC, like, who is? I'm not talking about NPP. Nah, not today. But like, I feel like he should have worked on the student loan. That will make it, because I know Mahama has done progressively free education. Yeah. If he came and he said, oh, he was going to make it in a way that is going to be accessible, and then as time goes on, he'll make it free. I feel like I would have believed him, because he started with the progressive, and we all know that, like, the nigga lived up to expectations with that part. But like, as for now, as I've seen, like, the young people of today, our eyes are open. Like, we now know what it really is. You gave us free education. You thought you were joking. We went to school to learn, and we now know that in our constitution, education is our right. Exactly. So don't come and write it in your manifesto that it's free. Like, bro, grow up.
First of all, him saying that he doesn't want politicians promising us anything free is absolutely wrong, because some things need to be free. We need to move away from all this capitalism that is embedded in our system. He stated clearly that education is a right. Why should someone sell your right to you? Shouldn't it be free? So and we have an instance of when someone decided to make it free. It is not a bad policy. It is good. People have been able to go to school, but it's just that his own wasn't thought out. But with this one that Mahama is bringing forth, it is thought out. He came up with what? A first year. That for me is, because I'm an economic student, it's like an MVP. He's putting it out to test the waters. Can I actually afford it? He didn't go and making the entire thing free like what they did here, and now they're pushing half-baked cookies into the tertiary system. I'm in school. We are in Form 3 now. But I went here last 2 years. We have not gone through half of the curriculum. But we are going to write something, and then the next thing we know, we'll be placed. And then we'll put the future in our hands. But do you see what I'm coming from? But then looking at the university thing that he's coming up with, he's going to give you 1 year free, and then you know that the next year you are going to have to pay. So if you are actually supposed to be in university, you will sit up, because scholarships are merit based. So you sit up and then get a scholarship. And for those who know that they don't want to sit up, he's making the student loan accessible. Maybe you even sit up and you're an average student, you'll be able to get through with the student loan. And those who are not able to get it, some
people can even pay.
Exactly, and some people can even pay. And the fact that even now, you move forward by student loan or scholarship, you will keep up a better behavior, and therefore it will not be everybody that is in the, like with SHS now, everybody is there, and now because of that you are seeing all kind of things that you're not even supposed to hear in SHS. People dying, people killing people. I mean, in school, the people that I work, I'm even afraid to walk in the hall, because some people are not supposed to be in school. Facts. So like, you made it free, everyone is coming in. So if you want to make it free and you've thought it out, I appreciate that. Oh, and also one thing that I was supposed to talk about that I slept on, like the fact that one thing I saw in the NDC NDC manifesto that I really appreciated was the fact that he said sanitary pads are going to be free, because that is long overdue. Like, it is long. I mean, this is a natural thing that happens with women. Why should we have to pay for keeping ourselves clean? Like, men be okay with us walking around bleeding out on the streets? Why should we have to pay for sanitary pads? So if someone has finally seen it and decided to make it free, I appreciate. Till now, people were paying tax on sanitary pads. The price was through the roof. That people, I don't know, something you're not supposed to say, but then some people cannot afford sanitary pads, and that's period poverty is just a thing that if a country is still if we're in a place where girls cannot afford sanitary pads, then I don't think you should even talk of development. So to me, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
With all this, with the free education and stuff that both parties are promising and they're implementing on, do you think education plays a very vital role in guiding people on who to vote for?
Yeah.
Because like we are sitting down here, we know, we've read, we can see what the people are doing, but when you go on the streets, because we both know that when it comes to voting, right, a lot of people on the streets, the poor people, the people that are not able to really afford living, the people that have to buy sachet water, the people that depend on like maybe 20 cedis a day to eat, they are the people that go and stand in the queues to vote, and they literally they are the ones who decide who wins, to be honest. So I wanted to ask, how do we get these people to really see who are actually good for the government? Because we know NPP is in power right now. We know what NPP has done right now. We know right now the country is in a very, very dire state. But if we're not very careful right now, NPP might win again because people are still campaigning for them.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to show these people that who is the political party that they're supposed to vote for?
First of all, with education is not about you going to school and learning that you have common sense. Ghanaians are now thinking for themselves. They've seen what these two political parties have done, and I'm grateful for one thing. NDC with Atamils and Mahama, they did 8 years, and Baumia and Akufo-Addo, the driver, they also did 8 years, and you can see the difference. Unfortunately, Atamils couldn't make it, and Mahama continued. So he did let me say 5 years or something. Yeah, and you can see that there's a vast imagine dollar going from 4 Ghana cedis to 16 Ghana cedis, and you stand there and tell me that Akufo-Addo ni Atamils bresono $1 4 cedi, ni Nana Addo dankwa Akufo-Addo semeba power $1 1 cedi. Where is the 1 cedi? Where is the 1 cedi? And I can bet and say that by November, dollar will be 20 Ghana cedis, and it's not even funny. Ghanaians, we've seen see the prices of petrol, see the prices of fuel. Drivers on the streets, they are complaining. See the prices of food stuff, even food. I remember in 2016 thereabouts, you can buy food for 1 cedi, 1 cedi, 50 pesos, and I love the media very, very. I'm so grateful. I'm part of this generation, because the media will never forget whatever you say.
Internet
will never forget. Because I came across a video that Akufo-Addo was Mama doesn't care about the people of Ghana. Imagine someone who work all day and struggle, and then at the end go and buy kenke for 1 cedi, whilst kenke can be 50 pesos and 30 pesos. Please, please tell me the price of kenke today.
Kenke is 5 cedis. You can't even get it without. You can buy kenke, but you can buy it just without the pepper.
Yes, kenke is. I'm grateful. I'm a Gen Z. I'm grateful. There's media, and Ghanaians have seen. There's no need for education, because we've seen it. We know it, and we know the right people and all that. There's no need to educate those on the streets. Because they are on the streets, they hustle every day, and they've seen the differences between the two parties. They've seen hustling in 2016, and they've seen hustling in 2024, and they know for themselves. They know which party has done well when it comes to development and all that.
Do you think that aligning with political parties is sort of based on tribalism?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me try to share a divergent view to what my good friend here said. So there is the need to educate the ordinary Ghanaian. There is the need because you see, our partisan dispensation is riddled with a lot of tribalism, and our understanding of politics is skewed towards what we are fed with.
Yep.
So we are in a generation where the person who is able to control the mind of the masses is the one who gets the nod.
Yeah.
Just recently, I was scrolling through social media, especially X, and I saw a video of a woman in the Ashanti region saying that if you put a cock on the ballot paper and you place the symbol of the New Patriotic Party, they will still vote for the New Patriotic Party. Do you know why? It is because the way we form our beliefs about political parties are not based on facts. It's based on what we are told and our tribal inclinations. So we are, from a very young age, when you're born into a predominantly Ashanti family or you're born into the Ashanti region, you are definitely most likely going to toe the line of the NPP. And it's the same for probably the Volta region and the NDC. But what I'm happy about is that due to the influx of a lot of information and intellectualism, we can notice that nowadays Gen Zs are thinking for themselves. The youth of this country, we are thinking for ourselves, and regardless of our political affiliations, we are able to decipher and see what is good for what is right. You get the point? Now the point is, if we do not take the step forward to educate the masses about some of the complex topics we are discussing, economic indicators like GDP, like debt to GDP ratio, like the depreciation of the CDX, they don't understand those things. Because propagandists from the different political parties will be placing the blame on the doorstep of the other party. So when people will tell you that the reason why the CD has depreciated is because of what? The Ukraine war. And people who already have a certain level of affinity to maybe the NPP would believe such things. Once we know that reckless mismanagement has contributed
people
to that.
I see, like, I believe that they know the truth. They just don't want to say it.
No,
Because
I'm a journalist.
Yes,
Let me say,
because they'll give you money and everything.
I'm a journalist, and I
Like,
cover stories on the ground with
people
people. I
know
conduct interviews with people on the ground. They genuinely don't know. They don't understand these topics. They don't understand.
And
that is why
let me just add,
the role of the media is very, very important, because we need to consistently educate the masses about these things. Or else people vote because of their tribal affiliations, or because someone has told them that NPP is good for them or NDC is good for them. There are certain people that do not have access to knowledge.
I just want to say this. There are some parents, millennials, and the other year who convince their children that, oh, like, because the chairman gave you free education, so you are obliged to vote for him. Let me just say this here. Let me sit well. Let me just say this, like, don't be deceived. That's like education is, that's what I've been saying for like the longest time. Education is like your right. Don't be deceived that because he gave you free education, you are obliged to, your way of thanking him is by voting for their political party. It's a big lie. Like, don't be deceived. Don't let them deceive you. You are educated. Like, you see what's happening in the country now. Maybe that generation, they are like, sorry to say, but like, they are not really experiencing that much. They are aged, if I'm to say, like, they are sitting in their beds most of the time, but you are now going to the street to go and hustle. You are now going to the street to go and work. Like, after school, you have to now look for jobs. And when you don't vote right, those jobs are not going to come easy for you. Do you understand? So I feel like the young people, specifically those about to write their finish, you know, their WASI and all of that, don't be deceived that because that party gave you free education, you are obliged to vote for them in a way of thanking them back. Like, no, you have your right to make your choice. I won't tell you who to vote for, but make a choice that you think is right. Do you understand? And yes, as the education, I feel like I would have said, we'll leave that for the politicians to do, but I feel like if we did that, they will deceive, they'll pour more dust into people's eyes. And I feel like for the people that are not educated, I watch videos and somebody say, me no education, me back or education, I want your education free, and it's so bad. So I feel like the embargo that they've gone to the education free, what are they using the education for? Are they not educating their parents too at home? Like, let them know that what is at hand. Like, it's hard. Like, you hear politicians arguing that my economy, my IMF is better than someone's IMF. When I was early, I didn't spoil the water. You also spoiled the water before I came to spoil the water. And these are politicians, people that we are supposed to think they're educated to a certain level, thinking like that. So it's so sad for me if I see that those people are not getting educated. Let's know this as young people. It's that generation, they are done. Like, it's now our turn. We are now going to take over their mess. And if we don't make the right decisions, it's going to go against us.
So we've talked about both the NDC and NPP. We all know there's a new party in town, the New Force. What are your thoughts on that party?
Yeah, the New Force. I first and foremost, can we talk about how he began the whole thing, the whole aesthetics?
You don't like the billboards?
I did.
It's a great way to introduce somebody. Like,
yeah, I'm talking about doing his tour when he was unveiling the whole thing, the whole track thing. I just feel like he got me with that. Yeah, he got me to listen, and I feel like I liked everything he said. He's going to. He's going to make sure our educational system is reformed. And I feel like I've seen a lot of political parties speak about education, and they are mostly touching the tertiary or the senior high school level. But I feel like reading through Cheda's manifesto, he didn't just specifically mention the sector of education he wants to tackle, but like the whole thing, which I feel like is right, because the others, and also those in crèche and all of that, also like their lives matter too, So like I feel like he, tackling the whole educational sector. And I think because now, like till date, schools have opened and then they are still crying for the Ghana Educational Service for curricula and stuff like that, and books for them to use. And now the teachers and headmistresses and stuff have to make their own, craft something for the children to use. So I feel like Cheda, didn't just say, okay, I'm picking this, I'm picking that. Like, he's taking the whole thing. And I like the industrialization conversation he's bringing up, making education like people, and there are lots of people who are going to schools and it's like, yeah, bugum keke. Do you understand? Like, we are just pouring it through. And so, yes, I feel like that's a good one for me.
Before we move on, when we looked at Akufo-Addo coming into presidency, right, everybody was like, Akufo-Addo is a very smart man. We knew that he had the money. We knew what he said he was coming. We all trusted him. You don't feel like Cheda is the same way, because we feel like Cheda has money. He's shown us that he has the money. Akufo-Addo showed us that he has the money. We all knew that he was smart. He spoke really good English. That was what I think reeled everybody in. You don't think Cheda is putting up a front?
No. Well, how long can you put up a front, honestly? 8 years. I just feel like, well, that part. But like, I feel like Cheda, do you know why I relate? Fine. If I get what you're saying, but like, I relate so much with what Cheda said. He's young, he's giving me aesthetics because it matters, and all of that. So yeah, I feel like that's what makes me believe and trust in him.
What do you think about Cheda?
With Cheda, I just appreciate the man, because he's a man with a vision. In fact, the name of his party aligns with him, because he's a revolutionist. Like, he's literally redefining everything. The manifesto, because I don't have much time, I'll just go straight. The manifesto with we have 12 ministers. 12 ministers, and he was able to distribute everything through 12 ministers. Do you know what that's going to do? That's going to reduce the amount of money that we pay the executive board. Giving more money for Ghanaians. And then there was the focus on decentralization, which is such a thing that needs to be addressed in, I would say Africa, but then Ghana. Like, it has to be addressed. Because in economics, they teach you division of labor leads to what? More productivity. So the decentralization, for that, if I was voting, I would vote for him. I mean, if it was in any other circumstance, for me, he's easily the best candidate for the position.
So you're not voting?
Yes, I would vote for him. Let's not talk about even the fact that I don't care if you have money. What you're proposing to me, it seems right. And you have a plan. You have been able to detail out the plan, and I said, yes, this could work. So yes, I would vote for him. And if not for the fact that a lot of things influence politics, he should win. If you are really listening to him, if they are listening, he should win.
Jaya, what do you think about Cheda?
Cheda. Okay, I listened to his manifesto. Like she said, he has vision. But implementing the vision is what I care about. Because we've heard words, people will come, and at the end of the day, we'll see nothing. So you tell me that you are going to 12
pillars
of
economic freedom.
Economic freedom, whatever. We have heard stories, we've heard rhythms, we've heard rhymes. Please tell us how you are going to do it, how you are going to fund those projects and all that. That is what we need to hear. Don't come and tell me that you do this, you do this, you do that, and you tell me that whatever you are saying, just tell me that, oh, this is the way I am going to do it. This is me. My problem with Cheddar is implementation. But apart from that, I think he has vision. But in Ghana, we have to be truthful to him. He should try next time.
Yeah.
Yes. Cheddar. Yes, because I'm not sure that, like, even though I can see that he's working hard, he's talking to people, he's educating people about his vision and all that, I'm not sure, like, the person in my village has heard about Cheddar. We just woke up one day and we saw billboards everywhere, the new force. I was even scared because I heard rumors that they are coming to colonize us again and all that. And like, I don't think someone in the farm in Bumpurugu somewhere knows Cheddar. Yes, because yes, and they are the masses. They are the people who will be voting. Most of the people who know Cheddar is the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Most of the people who know Cheddar. That's why I'm telling him to try next time. Because if we are the only people who know Gen Z, my 80-year-old grandmother doesn't even know who Cheddar is and all that. Like, it's like he's sorry to say, he's pouring water into a basket. Because even, okay, this is his first time. He has tried, but yes, he should try next time. Yeah.
I've already communicated my beliefs about Cheddar. Cheddar is what we are doing. In politics, what we call showing face. So, from a political marketing perspective, what he's doing is laying the foundation for the future. Because I'm sure his inner circle and Cheddar himself knows that he's not winning this year's election. Yeah. He knows. So he's laying a foundation. I give him a lot of props for the visionary leadership he's shown. 1, 2. The aesthetics that is associated with his campaign, because you see, he understands who his target audience is, and that is why he's crafting his communication and campaign theatrics in that way, because young people like things that are flamboyant.
Exactly.
That's what we like. So
like candid.
If he's going to chart that path, he will definitely win a lot of people, like his future creative arts minister. But now to the crux of the issue. He has outlined 12 pillars of economic freedom, and I agree with Jay when she says that she has challenges with him spelling out how he's going to achieve them. My challenges with the policy proposals would have to be with 2 things. 1, he says he's going to work with just 12 ministers. Now, we practice a constitutional parliamentary democracy in this country, and for him to be able to achieve that policy proposal, he would need to have control over the legislature, over parliament. But this is a situation where he's an independent candidate. Unless he's going to overthrow the constitution or launch a coup, which I don't know about. But you see, it makes it difficult for us to even toe that line when we want to believe in. Because first of all, you need to have control over parliament to even make constitutional reforms. He does not have that. The NDC or the NPP are going to play to his whistle. Nobody's going to do that. So that's
democracy.
It is democracy, but they are spelled out fundamental principles within the constitution that you have to do to be able to achieve certain outcomes.
And how is he going to approve his bill?
When are we even changing the constitution? Like,
so you see, let me finish. So you see your man has a lot of homework
that's why
to do.
You need to vote for him.
So you should try next year.
No, you do not step in the water and ask whether there are crocodiles in the water. You must make sure that the water is not crocodile infested before you put your feet in it. So don't wait for us to vote for him. Don't wait for us to vote for him before. That's 1. 2. I hear he wants to monetize. I hear he wants to monetize Ghanaian citizenship. That is very, 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 very controversial for me, especially coming from someone who is an Nkrumahist. It's difficult for me to understand because you see, I would have appreciated if he had said he's giving business permits to investors, but to say you're monetizing it, you are selling our citizenship for people who want to invest in our country. For me, it's very disrespectful from all fronts. What he can do is give business permits to people who want to invest. And those permits could come with additional benefits that's probably a regular citizen might not enjoy. But to say you're giving citizenship to someone on the basis that someone is going to invest in our economic space, that's very difficult for me to understand. So he needs to come back, probably reform that specific policy proposal. But I like the other ones, the ones about infrastructure, the ones about nuclear energy hub, because yes, we need alternative sources of power. It's hydro and clearly we need to move to solar. The nuclear, I'm very happy about it. But you see, I've always said that he can't thrive in our political space because of the modus operandi he's working on. You need a party. Unless, if you don't have a party, then you need a revolution. To throw away the old order. If that is what he's preaching, then that's fine. But if he wants to gain control over the structures and institutions that have the power to make the changes he wants to make, he needs a party.
It's been a great discussion. We've touched upon both manifestos, the NPP and the NDC. We have the new force coming in, which we've all seen. We saw the billboards, we saw the theatrics that they all played. I hope that my viewers out there are being educated and informed. We would like to hear from you in the comment section what your thoughts are on the political parties, and if you hope that the NPP stays in power or if you hope that another party comes to take over. I hope that you make your decisions rightly, because we want Ghana to be great.